Welcome back. Today what we're going to do is learn how to create a poster and a thumbnail from the assets that you already have. Okay, so first things first, we are going to make a poster, because once we have the poster pieces set up, then we can just resize it for the YouTube information. So first things first, all of our posters are paper sized, except we do it by pixels. So I want all of them to be 1100 by 800. So we're going to do a new image, and this is Photoshop, all right? So my height is going to be 1100 because a piece of paper is 11 inches, and width of 800 pixels. And then the background's going to be transparent, and we can hit OK. And now this is the default poster size that I want every poster to fit, okay? So this is our first layer. Now, what we want to do now is sort of like make a tagline. There's a couple things we need. We need a title and a tagline. So for our title, you use this titles or your text tool here, right? Actually, let's start with giving ourselves a background. I'm going to add a new layer down there, and this layer is going to be called background. All right, and my background is going to be a gradient. You can get to the gradient tool by clicking this button here and selecting gradient tool. You can change the color gradients by clicking on that button, and it brings this. And you can choose one of these different gradients, or you can make your own. So if you want to make your own, you just type new. Well, actually, I'm going to grab one that's similar to what I want and type new. I can select it here, and then I'm going to change the color. So I want to go from a dark blue, okay, to like a light blue, like a really light blue, like basically white. Make sure it's blue, like there. And then I can change where the gradient starts and stops. So if I want it to be, you know, different layers or like that, that's fine. I'm gonna click OK, all right, and I'm going to give myself a background that goes this direction, okay? It doesn't have to be exactly like this. You can sort of do it however you want. I like to have a little bit of a texture or a gradient or something to sort of make it pop a little bit. And the longer you pull that line, the more gradual your gradient will be. I think maybe that dark blue is a little too dark. So I'm going to click this, go to color, and then lighten it up a bit or make it a little more royal. Yes. Yes. Okay, cool. I'll try that again. I'm going to go from out there to there. There we go. That's what I want. Very subtle. Okay, good. Well, not very subtle. Now, so that's my background. So the next thing I want to do is, in my mind, it's going to have like the title at the top, and then we'll have a tagline. And then we'll have some stuff in the background, and then we'll have the ESRB rating. So all of this should be pretty quick. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add text. So I grab my text tool down here. I'm going to try and grab the corner and go to the other corner or the other edge and let go. And I'm going to call this, the game's title is Apple Man Slices Back. Okay. Now, I think this red is like a really, really probably too bright red. I want a little darker. And I'm also going to curve it by pressing this button up here. Now, there's a whole bunch of different options here. I'm going to go with an arc because that seems fun. And you can adjust the distortion. I want it to be stupid. Maybe not quite that bendy, but that's good. And vertical distortion, sure. Okay, great. All right, so this is my Apple Man. I can also come over here and double click, and I can add different layer options. I'm going to, you see, the problem is the red on the light blue, it kind of hurts my eyes. I want something to sort of give me an outline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do I can do a stroke around the outside, see, and you can sort of preview it here, and it sort of gives us a dark edge. Right now my color is here. I can sort of fade that out and adjust it. I'm sorry, that's here. Let's show my colors here. I'm gonna go with white and see how that looks. That's pretty cool. Maybe, I don't know, white, maybe a gray. No, definitely a white. Okay, white, good. I think that makes it pop a little bit. That's nice. So now what I wanna do is add my Apple Man, because he's gonna be in the front, nice and big. And I'm gonna leave all this here. So notice, this is its own layer, its background's its own layer. I need to grab my other assets. So I'm going into Poster Assets. I'm going to grab my Apple Man image, my PNG, the same one you had before. Oops. And I'm going to drag it over and let go on the canvas. And what that does is that drops my canvas like that. I'm gonna make him as big as I want him. I'm gonna zoom out so I can get it nice and big. All right, big, big. Enter. All right, cool. Sweet. Now, I'm going to grab this, make sure this is set up. I'm gonna right click this and I am going to rasterize layer. When I do that, now I can edit this layer. So I'm gonna make sure this layer is selected. I'm gonna highlight the box around it. I'm gonna hold Control, Shift, and press I to select everything but what's in the box. Now I'm gonna hit Delete, and now he's by himself. Now technically, I'm pretty sure if I take this, there's all this other stuff is still there, but that's okay. I'm not gonna see it, so I don't care. All right, so that's our main character. Now you could do whatever you want. I'm putting my main character. You could put like the city or your background or something like that. Whatever you like, that's fine. As long as it's got, you know, as long as it's interesting, it sort of catches the eye. All right, Control T, make it a little bit smaller because I need to remember I've got to have space for my other stuff in here. All right, cool. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it for our ESRB rating. So I'm going to take this over here and drag this over. All right, my ESRB rating is what I expect my game to be rated. I don't want anybody to put anything inappropriate, so you're only going to really have the option to use C, E, 10, or T. All right, so I'm going to hit Enter, click here and hit Enter, and then I'm going to make sure ESRB ratings are selected. Right-click, Rasterize Layer, or Rasterize, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to select Teen. It's going to be a teen game. Control-Shift-I to select everything but the T, and I'm going to hit Delete. Now I'm going to click somewhere else, and then now my ESRB rating, Control-T, can be moved down to the corner like it would be, and I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit because we don't need it crazy. Also, with posters and with everything, really, you like to have a little bit of buffer on the edge so things aren't all the way on the edge. Same thing through here. So we've got the ESRB rating, we've got our Apple person, our Apple Man. Next, let's put some background guys. I'm going to take an enemy, right? I'm going to move him in here. I'm going to make him big, right? And then I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to grab the one that I want, which will just be this one here, and then Control-Shift-I, Delete. Oh, we couldn't do it because it's not editable. You have to remember to rasterize. So take this, rasterize layer. Now I can do the same thing I was doing before, Control-Shift-I. Because I'm only messing with this layer, I can delete everything else, right? Okay, he's selected. I can make sure I don't have anything else selected. And I'm going to move him underneath everything else but above the background. Control-T allows me to move him, right? And I'm going to do like there's a whole bunch of them, right? I'm going to grab this and I'm going to hit Enter. And I'm going to duplicate this layer. Duplicate layer. Okay, and I'm going to call it a copy. I'm going to grab both of these. Well, actually, let me grab the copy. Control-T, move him over here. I'm gonna grab this one, grab both of them, Control T, duplicate, actually, duplicate layers, okay, Control T. Now I'm gonna make sure this guy here is in the background. Okay, now I'm gonna grab all 4 of these and duplicate them. Okay, Control T, move them over. Maybe even, I'm gonna right click, I'm going to flip horizontal. So now they're looking this way, like that. Maybe even turn them like this, so they're all looking up at him, like that. Do the same thing with the others. Control T, and if I grab a corner and have them all look like they're looking up, there. All right, cool. Appleman strikes back, and then we've got a rating team down there. And you know what? I'm going to take all of these, like, scientists or doctors. That's right, they're doctors. And I'm going to put them in a folder. So I can press this button here, create a folder or group, grab them all. I'm going to call the group enemies. All right, grab this, grab these, drag them into enemies. All right, now I can affect them together. So I can select this, and I'm going to maybe do a filter on them. So let's grab, I'm going to wipe them out, or just sort of add something to them. So maybe wash them out a little bit. Just on that. I think that'll just affect them. Yes, so now I've sort of made it so they get washed out, but everything else is fine. As I want the Appleman to sort of pop, but I don't need them. Oh, that's kind of neat, having their eyes basically glow like that. That's kind of cool. I don't know, that's not what I was going for. I was going for like a washed out look. All right, that's okay. I'll darken them up a little bit. All right, cool. So now I've made this filter apply to the enemies alone by making sure I press this button here, which is this adjustment clip, clips to the layer. So it clips to this layer of enemies. And I minimized the enemy layer, that way you don't have to see it. All right, so our Esrb rating is above everything, which is here. Now all we need is a tagline. Control T, I'll move him up a little bit. Yep, all right. So our tagline will be text again. And this is usually something short and snippy. All right, I like to expand it out and then make sure the whole thing is centered. That way it looks good. Come on, sometimes it's very finicky on when the corner is. Okay, let's see. Keeping the doctor away forever. Exclamation point, Control A. All right, so I want a different text, something simple, because our tagline is going to be there. And then I'm going to shrink it. I don't love it yet, but that's okay. I want the text to be black, which will pop down there. And then let's get it better text looking. Something, I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole on this. Okay, sure. Keeping the doctor away forever. Good. Okay. We might need an outline on it too. We'll see. All right, so now I'm going to move this. Make sure it's lined up, centered up. I feel like it needs to be a little thicker, so I can once again click the text tool and then click here to make some edits. Maybe a bold. Keeping the doctor away forever. Okay, cool. That's dumb. And if I want to, all right, that's good. I'm happy with that. I can click here. If I want, I can just adjust the layer and it'll stretch the text. So if I want the something like that. Make sure it's lined up. If I hold shift, it moves perfectly up and down. I can't move it right or left unless it's perfectly aligned. So that's kind of helpful. And then I can use the arrow keys to push it over a pixel or two. Right? Good. All right. Sweet. Enter. Now I want to give it a little outline because I want it to pop. Usually if you have one color, you want to give the outline a different color so it'll pop off and make nice difference between it. Size, and I can just do it like real, maybe like a 2. Yes. All right, good. So there we go. I've got my title, I've got my main character, and now Control T, I can even make my main character bigger. Put him down here because the white background, the white outline of the text, it's still easy enough to read. I don't love it, but it's okay. It's a little hard to read. Maybe I'll increase the stroke on there. So let's do a 5 pixel. Yeah, now it really pops. Okay, cool. So there we go. So we've got our character in there, we've got an action, we've got the title, we've got our piece. So this is good. So we're going to export this. File, export, save for web. All right, the save for web, we're going to make a JPEG high, which is good. The image size, we want to leave it at 800 by 1000 and hit save. And I am going to put this on the desktop and I'm going to call it Appleman Poster. Sweet. All right. Now, the cool part is now that the poster's done, the YouTube thing is basically done already. Okay, so all the pieces we have can be used some more, so it can be used again. So now what we need to do is create a new file. So, or not a new file, but we need to change the image a little bit. So we're going to change the canvas size. All right. Change the canvas size, and I'm going to make the width, I'll do it in pixels. The width now is going to be much larger. All right. 720 by 1280. So width is 1280. And the height will be 720. All right, click OK. All right, some clipping will occur, that's okay. So all these pieces look bad right now, but we're going to fix that really quick. Let's first fix the background. Because it's just a simple gradient, I can just drag it out and make it big again. For Appleman, hit enter when you're done. For Appleman, I can take this, select him, the piece that I want to keep, Control Shift I, and delete, and that gets rid of the other pieces that were in there. So that's done. And then Appleman slices back, Control T, that's got to come down. Oops, make sure you don't grab the middle. You end up moving the thing. All right, I'm going to make it bigger too, so I'm holding Shift while I move it, so that it's nice and big. And once again, everything's already kind of done. We're just adjusting it. If you hold Shift and Control, it uses the center point as the movement. And I'm just sort of trying to line that up in the center. If you want a center line, you can click over here in the ruler, drag it over to 50 if it's on %, which it should be. You can always right click up here and make sure it's on %. Then I can push it over by a pixel or two, so that's aligned. Click enter. Appleman, Control T. I'm going to shrink him down so he fits a little better. Enter. All right, Control. Once again, I got to get rid of all those extra Apple guys. So I just select him, Control Shift I for invert. There we go. And now I've got the text that says, I gotta click here. So the text, keeping the doctor away forever, Control T, I'm sorry, not Control T, use the text tool. Click there, and then I'm just gonna grab a corner and take it all the way across. So it lines up there, and then take this other corner and take it all the way across. So it lines up like that. Good. And now my scientists, my enemies, Control T, I'm gonna move them up, once again, keeping it aligned to the center. And then I'm also going to hold Shift as I make them bigger on both sides here. And you can't see them right now, but you hit Enter, they're back. Control T, I'm going to move them all together a little bit so it looks better. And I'm also going to fade them out. Their opacity, I'm just going to sort of blend them out a little bit. There. All right, now all I need is my ESRB rating, which is probably down there somewhere. There it is. I'm going to put that back in the corner. Technically, I suppose we are waiting for a assessment on this, but whatever. We're just going to go with it. All right. So there is my YouTube splash screen. I've got Appleman, I've got all this other stuff, I've got effects going on, I've got my saturation. It's the right dimension, so now all I have to do is File, Save for Web, and it's going to grab all these, and I'm going to make sure it's a JPEG, 1280 by 720. You hit Save, and once again I'll be on my desktop, and instead of poster, I'm going to call it Appleman YT for YouTube. Save. All right, and there we go. Now we've got our splash screen that will go when we make our advertisement video. Now you have a good idea on how to create a poster. Real simple way to use Photoshop to create a poster and create a YouTube. Make sure that your poster is 1,100 pixels tall and 800 pixels across, and make sure your YouTube image is 1,280 pixels across and 720 pixels tall. All right, so with that, I'll see you next time.